Hello YouTube, welcome back. I want to continue watercolor week. So this is all the stuff I got. It cost about $10. This pad was 40% off because they always have a special on some sort of thing and all pads were 40% off. So I actually probably could have gotten a bigger one, but I went with this size. So it was about $2. This 6-color watercolor set was about $4. This was $1 and this was $2, just a 3-brush pack. I don't know how well these brushes are gonna work with watercolor. I tried to get the cheapest ones I could find. And these are made out of gold nylon. The other brushes I saw that were similar were made out of camel hair, and I felt those probably were too rough and weren't gonna work, so we'll see how these turn out. This is just a simple plastic palette. They actually had a slightly more expensive one that closes and you can put paint in. I almost got that instead, but it was like $3, so I felt like the cheaper option would probably be better for this particular purpose. This is one of the cheaper watercolor sets. They had a few others that were about the same price with more colors and stuff, but I kind of wanted something I felt would be quality, like more quality, I guess, because that's kind of what I do even when I'm on a budget, is I still look for quality over like the cheapest stuff you can find, you know? So we'll see if these actually turn out well or not. The colors are Chinese white, lemon yellow, vermilion, sap green, cerulean blue, and lamp black. Ideally, I would have preferred a set that didn't have white or black, but I didn't have a choice of this, so. And then this pad of 8x8 cold press watercolor paper basically means it's super textured and it's pretty thick and absorbent. I actually had this exact pad before. I already used it up. It's what I first bought when I started learning to watercolor a few months ago. And I knew that it works all right, so I decided to get it again. I guess I could have gotten like really, really cheap paper, but again, I kind of like going for a little more quality over the cheapest stuff you could find. And I felt like a lot of people already did the super cheap art supplies challenge with like really, really cheap stuff. And I kind of wanted to go a little bit above that for my personal video, so that's why I chose what I got. I forgot to mention that for the sketching, I'm going to use this pencil. Last year for my birthday, an old coworker asked what I wanted, and I told him I wanted a sketchbook. So he got me a hardbound one, and he gave me 2 of these pencils and this little metal pencil sharpener. Technically, I got this for free, so it doesn't count in with the price of all this. So this should work fine, and I'm probably not gonna record the process of me sketching because I learned in the last video that just makes it way too long, and I wanna focus more on these supplies, so it'll just be the painting. Let's get started. this is the final result. Overall, the watercolors responded a lot better than I thought they would. They lifted a little bit if I tried to go back over for layering, so I had to make sure each layer was at least mostly dry before I tried to go over for the shading. These brushes actually worked a lot better than I was expecting them to for being so cheap, because usually nice watercolor brushes are pretty pricey. The paint wanted to stick to the bristles, so I had to be careful like washing them off completely in between, but luckily I was using similar colors, so if there was any transfer, it wasn't a huge deal. You can see the color stain the bristles, but that's kind of normal. My other brushes, which are nicer, the same thing happened to them. They weren't quite big enough to do a painting this large. You saw in the beginning of the video that the colors streaked pretty easily when I was just laying the flats down. I fixed it as much as I could, but it's still a little streaky, which might be hard to tell on camera. So the next time I were to purchase a set like this, I would try to get the bigger brushes. But this really small one was pretty good for doing the outline, which initially I wasn't going to do, but I thought at the end it would tie the whole piece together pretty well, and it did, so I'm happy that I ended up going with that. My biggest complaint with the watercolor set is that this is orange and not red. And since red is a primary color, you can't mix it. So it's kind of out of luck when I was trying to paint the eyes and the mouth, so I ended up using my Grumbacher red. So I had to cheat a little bit, but I didn't really have a choice. So if you were to purchase this watercolor set, I would recommend getting a red. And at least with Hobby Lobby, they always have a 40% off coupon you can use on one item. So if you purchase this red, which is about $5, you'd get a couple dollars off, which is still a pretty good deal for all the supplies. I already knew that this paper was decent. It's still too textured for my taste, and the paper started tearing when I lifted the color, and it started bowing a little bit because of the water, but that could probably be solved if I taped it down. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty pleased with everything. Thanks for watching. Bye!